So Penn State is coming off a very big junior day. So I want to come on here and talk about some of the recruits that Penn State is currently trending towards. One bringing back, and others just committing for the first time to Penn State. They are in on multiple huge recruits, several 5 stars, a few 4 stars, and I love the direction that Matt Campbell and the staff is headed. So I think the program's in good hands. So we're gonna get to talk about some of these players, but before we do, I want to greatly appreciate all the Penn State fans. You guys show me massive amounts of support on every single video. You guys already know that. I want to mention that and thank you guys in every single video that I do. So I appreciate you guys. And let me know in the comments before we do get started. Are there any recruits out there that you're really hoping Penn State can go out there and land? I know there's a lot on some of your minds because I know Penn State's pretty heavily involved in recruiting, and I think the fans are as well. So I'm going to keep bringing this content because I'm very invested into it as well. So not going to go too in depth on them, but kind of give my thoughts and opinions and just run some stuff by you. Not going to talk too much numbers or anything, but just rankings and where they'll fit in the program. So let's get straight into it. So Penn State is still targeting Leighton von Brandt, who is one of the top offensive linemen in the entire class. He's the top player in Delaware. He is a 5-star recruit, or 4-star recruit, I'm sorry. He's a 4-star recruit, 5-star recruit on some sites, I believe, or at least he was at one point. He was originally committed to Penn State, top 40 player in the 2027 class, and Penn State still sits in his top 8. You know, the new coaching staff is pushing very hard to keep him because, you know, there's still Penn State ties because he was originally committed. He has a relationship with some of these other guys that I'm going to mention as well, which we'll talk about, and they've kind of been going back and forth on Twitter, so it's super interesting there. I believe it was Leighton. Maybe it was someone else, but I believe it was Leighton that was going back and forth on Twitter in a good way. But currently crystal ball to Notre Dame, but Penn State still has some traction there. He took another visit to Penn State, I believe recently, maybe on junior day, I think, and apparently went good. You know, he's a bigger guy, 6'6", 270, but he's probably going to put on some more weight to play on the offensive front. But I mean, I really like Leighton von Brandt. I always want to say Van Brandt, but Leighton von Brandt. And obviously, as him being a former Penn State commit, I'd like to see Penn State make a run and bring him back because you could always use extra linemen. And when you're getting some of the best offensive linemen in the entire class, that's a very good sign for your future quarterback room and your future running back room and your future receiver room and pretty much the entire offense. And Penn State just brought in a very good offensive line coach who I really like. Yes, losing Phil Troutman was a big loss, but I believe that they brought in a staff that could still recruit these guys at the top level. And it's going to be a race between Penn State and Notre Dame, I believe, for Leighton. So we'll see how that goes. Now, the next one, everybody knows him, is Kemon Spell. So Kemon Spell was also originally committed to Penn State. #1 running back in the class. He's a 5-star recruit. Super explosive player. Like I said, originally another Penn State commit. Still heavily involved and linked to Penn State. Currently has a few crystal balls to Penn State. I don't know if it's on. Yeah, you can see it right here. And then on 3, he has a few crystal balls. And these are more recent. You see there's a Notre Dame crystal ball as well. The Penn State ones were more recent. I believe there were like 2 or 3 of them to Penn State. So we'll see what happens there because these were like as of a week ago. So the last few months for him, his recruitment's been kind of all over the place. You know, Georgia was in on him pretty high, and it seemed like he was high on Georgia. Notre Dame made a big push. Seemed like he was headed to Notre Dame. Last second changes. Matt Campbell and the staff pulled off some crazy moves, and he's crystal ball back to Penn State. We'll see what happens. I believe a decision may be coming pretty soon, if I had to guess. But this guy's a true impact player. He's a stud. A guy from Pennsylvania, so in-state guy, and this is someone who has the potential to be another great Penn State running back because I think you keep that tradition going. So the next one who has a relationship with Kemon Spell and Leighton von Brandt, I'm sorry, is Khalil Taylor. So Khalil Taylor, another former Penn State commit, 4-star recruit, also in-state out of Pittsburgh. He's another guy who the coaching staff is pushing hard to gain back with. There's mutual interest there. You know, like I said, Kemon Spell, Khalil Taylor, and I think it was Leighton von Brandt. It It was either Leighton Von Brandt or one of these other guys I'm going to mention. I'll have to find the post. They were kind of going back and forth, teasing maybe a recommitment to Penn State. I think that Penn State is sitting in a pretty good spot with Khalil Taylor right now. It seems like he really likes the coaching staff. You know, some guys have talked to him. I've heard some interviews. He really likes Noah Polley, and I believe Noah Polley is an outstanding receivers coach. So if I was, it wouldn't surprise me if some of these receivers do stick around and go, because, you know, if they could bring in Khalil Taylor and have a guy like Kobe Howard and some other young guys in that wide receiver room, I really like what Penn State's wide receiver room is looking like. He's number 56 overall prospect in the class, number 11 wide receiver. He's a top 4 player, top 5 player in Pennsylvania. And like I said, they're pushing hard to get him. His not senior year, but last year in high school, he had 51 receptions, 932 yards, receiving, and 22 touchdowns. Super explosive, great hands, great route running, and he's also a special teams threat, which I believe is always a plus when you got a guy that could come out there and return kicks at a very high level as well. But man, Penn State's receiver room has been super slim through these years, so if you could add more young talent with a great wide receiver coach, which I'm never going to stop talking about Noah Polley. I believe he's an outstanding receivers coach, and I believe that Penn State fans are really about to see that next season. I really like where this receiver room is sitting. Now, the next one is Maxwell Hiller. So Maxwell Hiller, interior lineman, another in-state 5-star, number 1 player in Pennsylvania, or number 1 on some on 24/7 or 247, and then 247 composite. He's a number 2 player, but either way, on both, he's the number 1 interior offensive lineman, and it really helps that he's in state. He's a blue chip offensive lineman prospect, obviously, with, you know, a good blend of size, I would say, rare blend of size. 6'5", 300 pounds, and you're still, junior in high school? It's insane. And he's going to keep growing. He's going to keep adding muscle. This guy is going to be an absolute killer once he's up. Super athleticism, has crazy technique for his age. When you do watch his tape, Penn State still sits high on his board. Coming off a visit, I believe. Incredible player. He's going to be huge for Penn State, or he would be huge for Penn State if Penn State could go out there and really land him. And it would be a slam dunk for the new staff. So we'll kind of see. He's left visit saying Penn State is high on his list. And this was kind of recent, so we'll see. Absolutely outstanding pickup if you can go out and do it. Now, the last one is Will Slaggel. Will Slaggel, I don't know how to say his name. I'm going to be honest. But he is another offensive lineman from the 2027 class from Iowa. Number 1 player in Iowa. Number 2 player in Iowa, depending on which one you look at. Recently been drawing a lot of attention and heavy interest from Penn State. Top recruit out of Iowa. Matt Campbell and staff do have ties with him from Iowa State, because obviously you're in state at Iowa. And he was originally an Iowa State commit, which helps a lot. And he's drawing a lot of interest now with the new coaching staff over at Penn State. And this is a guy who also, once he decommitted from Iowa State after Matt Campbell did head over to Penn State, he was getting a lot of interest from a lot of big programs around the country. And Penn State still seems pretty high on his list. I think Matt Campbell, I like the odds of him. I like the odds of him following Matt Campbell, and I really like the odds of Penn State landing him. This is another one where I wouldn't be shocked if there's a decision sometime soon. So, yeah. I know I rambled a lot, but like I said, just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions. So if you did enjoy this video, I greatly appreciate it. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate you guys, as always. And leave a comment down below if there are any recruits here that you really like and really want to bring in, and really hoping that the staff will bring in. So yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Stay tuned for more Penn State recruiting content. Peace.